I have a bit of a bone to pick when it comes to all this dating advice that's being spread on a regular everyday basis. While it could be genuinely helpful for someone who's just starting out or someone who's just getting back in the game, a lot of this information out there is really toxic. The content creators of this genre know for a fact that a majority of their viewers either have little to no experience or have been out of the game for so long that they have no idea what the hell is going on. So a lot of modern dating advice is actually just fear-mongering and telling people about the worst case scenario if you decide to get into a relationship or date someone. And that's really sad and scary because a simple Google search about how to text somebody that you like can send you down some kind of rabbit hole telling you about the worst of the opposite sex. Next thing you know, you're hearing horror stories of how much money someone had to pay through alimony and child support after a bad divorce. Or you're hearing the most devious, deplorable, despicable tale about how this husband was cheating on his wife with her best friend while she was pregnant. But anyway, back to the dating content. A majority of it shares one common flaw that I have a huge bone to pick with. The focus is way too high on the pursuit of attracting someone. There's so much dating advice about how to attract a mate. If you go onto YouTube right now and you search for dating advice, there is so much advice out there on how to attract somebody, it's not even funny. What clothes to wear on a date? What perfume or cologne should you be wearing? What location should you take them on a first date? Who should pay for the first date? How soon should you lean in to kiss them? Should you text them back within 4 hours? Is it or is it not okay to eat spaghetti in front of them on Friday when it's raining? Basically, everybody wants to know how to attract somebody and how to get someone to like them and how to get them attached to you. And there are so many tips and tricks out there to put your best foot forward when it comes to dating. And a lot of this is very valuable information. But I got a simple question for you. What happens afterwards? What happens if you're actually successful? You got this person attracted to you, they like you, they're attached to you. Now what? There's not nearly enough content that is posed towards the long term of a relationship. Building a life and growing together after the metaphorical happily ever after. I think it's because they're assuming that you probably won't get the other person to commit to a relationship in the first place. They expect for you to fail and for you to keep on searching for someone else to game. If your true goal is a relationship with someone after you've attracted them, then you have to maintain a long-term healthy relationship with them. This includes making sacrifices and learning how to communicate better, learning how to put someone else's needs in front of your own. All those dates, all those people that you keep meeting up with, it kind of doesn't really matter if you can't maintain a healthy relationship with any of them. If no one wants to stick it out with you, isn't that a big problem? A lot of people who have recurring dating issues because of insecurity. A lot of these videos that people watch lack any sort of nuance as to why you might have these insecurities in the first place. They normally don't talk very much about how you're probably going to have to do some introspective soul searching and figure out how your upbringing affects how you view relationships. And trust me, it affects every single aspect of your relationship because it affects every single aspect about you. The relationship that you have with your mother and father are absolutely going to affect the way that you view prospective mates, let alone any traumas that you might have suffered that you have not gotten over yet, even if you're not aware of it. All of these things are going to affect every single relationship that you get into until you understand yourself more. So you need to take some time to do some self-exploration and figure out how do you really view the opposite sex. What are your self-limiting narratives? What are your blind spots that you need to work on? Everyone has areas of improvement when it comes to communication. How about you find out yours? What is your love language and how do you like to display love? Everybody needs to get more acquainted with themselves and figure out who they really are, who they want to be, and by proxy, figure out who they need to be in their life. The thing is, if these content creators told you this, more than likely you wouldn't watch all the way through the video because it's not an easy fix. But the other reason is because they depend on you being insecure. They need an insecure customer to keep coming back. They need for you to not really know what's going on so you can keep on watching their videos. Because you are insecure, antisocial, and not self-aware, you will continuously keep on going down the rabbit hole of watching all of their content and trying to figure out the secret formula to get somebody to like you. Your SEO optimized thought patterns are lining up their pockets. And then another thing that really grinds my gears about all this dating advice is that a majority of it is coming from somebody who is single. Most of these people who are giving you advice on how to bag a baddie or how to snag a rich guy, they are not in a healthy, successful relationship themselves. In fact, some of these people have never been in a relationship at all. So who the hell are they to give you advice? When you think about it like that, why on earth would you take advice from someone who does not have what you want? You know those really annoying commercials that you see on YouTube all the time of those get-rich-quick, hustle culture, entrepreneur guys that are always trying to sell you on their course and they're trying to tell you about how they got all this money coming in every single day? Every single commercial that they have is like, I make 18 grand a day by clicking a button. Buy my course to find out how. It has been exposed over and over again that a majority of these guys do not have a financial background. They don't know shit about money. They don't know anything. What they're doing is getting rich off of selling you bullshit. They make 18 grand a day off of a sucker like you buying this course trying to figure out how to get rich quick. They don't know anything. They don't have any secrets. Well, these online dating gurus are pretty much the same. You are taking advice from someone that does not have the pedigree to teach you how to get a healthy relationship. Matter of fact, I'm about to blow your mind real quick. Do you really think that somebody who has maintained a happy, healthy, functional, fulfilling relationship long term is giving advice to strangers on the internet? Hell nah, they are way too busy enjoying the life that they have. They're laid up secured in the arms of their loved one enjoying their life. Even if there is a lot of potential profit to be gained, a lot of people do not want to expose the intricacies of their relationship for views. They want to keep their intimacy private, and I can't blame them for that. Once you put your relationship out there on Front Street for the public to see, it can be really damaging. You get way too many people all up in your business, and I really do mean all up in it, like all up in the Kool-Aid and don't even know the flavor. People get stalkerish, you can have some really creepy fans, don't even get me started when y'all have kids. And I think the worst of all is you attract all these really angry, bitter people who are upset at the fact that you have a relationship and they don't. So yeah, let's keep it a buck. I think a majority of the people who are in healthy relationships are not sharing themselves online because of everything that comes with it. I want you to always remember that these people giving this advice do not have your best interest at heart. They don't really care about you. Their entire income is dependent on you being lonely, insecure, and angry at the opposite sex. If you get into a happy relationship, that's one less viewer, which means less money for them. Don't take it personal. It's not like they have some sort of vendetta against you. They just actually don't care about you as an individual. You're just another number. But I also want you to start asking yourself every time that you watch one of these videos, are you getting advice that you're even going to practically apply? And if you are going to apply it, is it helpful for you in the long run? I also want you to start being honest with yourself about what you actually want. If all you want is to hook up with a bunch of random strangers who do not care about you, then go on ahead, keep listening to this advice. The beginning development of a relationship is extremely important. There is no long-term relationship without establishing attraction in the beginning. The whole pursuit and chase dynamic is naturally going to occur in the process of developing a relationship. You don't have to worry about that, that's gonna happen. You more than likely will not be able to develop a relationship without knowing how to secure someone's attention. But that's really just part one of the entire journey. It's such a small fragment of the overall development of a relationship. As a culture, we really do not think about the logistics of what happens after that. Okay, congratulations. You have attracted someone. You finally got someone to like you. They are in a relationship with you. They're attached to you. They're attracted to you. You got them. Okay. Now what? All right, cool, bro. You got the girl. How do you maintain a healthy relationship? How do you communicate with her on a regular, everyday basis? What do you do when she's upset? How do you comfort her? Remember part of the game of attracting her when you had to be mysterious and aloof and you had to keep her guessing on what your next move was? Well, now you live with her. Where are all the tips and tricks on how to keep her guessing now? She knows all your habits. She knows all your moves. She knows your routine. Where's the mystery now? Is that all you had to attract her? Ladies, how do you apologize to that guy that you finally got to settle down after you've said something extremely rude to him that you didn't mean to? You didn't actually expect for him to get upset, but you said something that really hurt his feelings, and now he's mad at you. What do? Okay, he likes the way that you dress, he likes the way you did your hair, you got the perfect texting ratio, but what do you do when his sister don't like you? What is the proper way to argue in a relationship, or at the very least, agree to disagree? Yes, a big portion of dating does have a lot to do with this innate urge to have hot monkey relations with a person that you think is physically attractive. A lot of it has to do with that. But a majority of people are really searching and yearning for intimacy. That is what they really want. That's really what they're in this relationship for. And that extends past just the physical act. There's so many different forms of intimacy. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, wants intimacy in one form or another. Everyone wants a deeper human connection with another person. They want to feel like they're not alone in this world and that somebody really loves them for who they are. Yeah, hookups and going on a bunch of dates can be fun for a certain period of time, but I think a majority of people, if they're being truly honest with themselves, really want a serious long-term relationship. If they're not emulating their favorite content creator or trying to pretend like they're the biggest player in the world, if they're being serious with themselves, they really want to be with one person. And there is a lot of maturity and responsibility necessary in order to maintain a mature and healthy relationship. Keyword there being healthy, because you absolutely can stay in some bullshit. So a big problem about receiving a lot of this dating advice online is the fact that you're getting all this information about how to attract a person, but not about what to do after you attract them. Because it doesn't really matter just how many people you can attract. What matters is who you can keep. But I also want you to be honest with yourself. Are you antisocial? Do you actually make an effort to get out and talk to people? Are you self-aware? Do you understand what your shortcomings are? And unless you're taking like a personal coaching call with any of these people, All this advice that you're listening to for free is not going to point out all of your flaws of like being antisocial or not being self-aware. You get all this information on all the perfect things to say and what to wear and stuff like that, but like, what if you're coming off weird? No amount of this dating advice is going to fix the fact that people think that you're creepy. None of it is going to make you any less awkward or shy or anxious. None of it is going to fix that crippling depression. Who cares how many women you can attract when your life is in shambles and you have terrible mental health? Who cares how many men you can attract when your apartment is a pigsty and you cry yourself to sleep every night? I'm not saying that all people who are watching this dating advice don't have their life together, but I kind of feel like a majority of people who do not have their life together. Face it, you're watching these videos as another form of distraction to keep you from acknowledging the fact that you do not like the results that you have in life right now. And you think maybe, just maybe, if I find out this tip or trick to get somebody attracted to me, maybe somebody will stick around and my life will be better. But these tips and tricks aren't going to tell you what's naturally turning people off. It's not going to tell you that you're being a loser right now and that maybe you need to fix your life. This type of advice is not meant to make you self-reflect and observe or think about the kinds of things that you might be doing that is making someone not want to stick around with you. Because this sort of thing takes field research. You got to get out there, you got to make your mistakes, and then you got to learn from them. You need to have open and honest communication and receive feedback and actually take that feedback. You might be coming off as kind of weird and creepy sometimes. Maybe you're too demanding. Maybe you're too clingy. Maybe you're too aloof. Maybe you talk too much. Maybe you're Buzz Killington. Maybe you're actually not that fun to be around. Maybe you complain too much. Maybe you're always negative. Maybe all of your insecurity really shines through when you get too close to somebody. But all of this free advice is not about that. It's just about trying to attract somebody. And truthfully, I wonder what the actual success rate is for people who do take these personal coaching calls. Do you actually get any better results in dating, or did you just waste a bunch of money? These gurus teach you how to fake high value and fake aloofness to enhance attraction, but that's just not sustainable, because if that's not you, that's not you. What happens is you're playing a role. You're playing a character of somebody who does these things. And at some point, your gangster will be tested. And if you ain't got the guff to be up to snuff, you're gonna crumble like a powder puff. I just made that up. And that in itself is a bop. And it's a bop because you're attracting the wrong kind of person by playing these games in the first place. If a person is attracted to you playing games, then they're not really attracted to you, they're attracted to the game. You're attracting the type of girl that likes a guy that does not text her back. You're attracting the type of guy that you need to convince to settle down. Essentially, you attract the kinds of people that like to play mind games, that like to be doing this immature grade school shit. Anyone who is looking for a sustainable, healthy, mature relationship is not going to be engaging in any of these games. And if you take the advice that these videos are giving to you, you'll run off somebody who is a good person. Seriously, any good man, any good woman, you will run them off playing these games. They're not going to be interested in it. They're not going to want to play these games. A person who really wants to be with you is going to want to be with who you really are. Your authentic self, like who you are down to your core. And if they're a person of real value, they will recognize when you're playing a role. They'll recognize that you're emulating a caricature, and it will not attract them. They will not be interested because they're real. Even if you get results playing this role, you won't get results with somebody that you actually like. You will not get results with somebody that you really would want to be with. Because the kind of person that would be attracted to these sorts of games is not really someone you want to be with. You are better off just being your authentic self. Be you. Be who you really are, and find someone who is compatible with that. And allow those other people to go out there and find somebody that's about that life. I think another gauge for whether or not you should take some of this dating advice is, would you want someone to be doing this to your son or your daughter? Like any of the tips and tricks that you end up hearing, would you actually condone someone doing this to your son or your daughter? If the answer is no, then why do it to someone else's son or daughter? But I also want you to stop putting so much pressure on everyone that you date and hoping that relationships are going to make you happy. They're not going to make you happy. A relationship is supposed to be added value. It's supposed to be the icing on top, not the entire cake. You should already have a good life that you are happy with, and the relationship is just supposed to be something extra on top to make it even better. If it's all you have to make you happy, then you're not happy. You need to put in more effort to be a better person to attract a better person. It only makes sense. And then after becoming a better person, you need to put more effort into your relationships, because they're not always going to be fun and they're not always going to be easy. Even though they're extremely rewarding, relationships can be difficult, and don't let anybody tell you that they're not. If the goal is to find someone to actually stick around, then you need to be someone worth sticking around for. And chances are, if you're the kind of person who's watching all of this content, you probably are somebody who needs a lot more growth before someone wants to stick around. I think one of the biggest misunderstandings about relationships is this idea that once you get the person locked down, once they're in a relationship with you, that you no longer have to put in effort with them. Like, you put in all this effort on the front end to try and attract this person and try to get them to like you, but once you got them, you think you can just drop the ball? You expect them to somehow keep on liking you based on that initial effort that you put in. But that's just not cool. Relationships should be an exchange of value. You should be getting something and they should be getting something too. And if you stop putting in effort in your relationship, you are no longer providing value. You cannot expect to maintain attraction when you're no longer being attractive. And if you acted a certain way or did certain things in the beginning in order to attract somebody, they probably like that about you, and that's probably why they chose you. But if you stop doing those things, what's the incentive to keep on liking you? Like, we're all so nice and kind and loving in the beginning. We all want to make sure that this person really knows that we care about them because we're trying so hard to get them. But once the pursuit is over, a lot of people are just like, I got them already. I don't got to try no more. Give that person that you love a compliment every once in a while. Buy them a small gift every now and then. You used to give foot rubs and back rubs in the beginning, and now they gotta beg you for one. Engage in some of their hobbies or interests that you may not be as into. Just show them that you actually care. It's the little things that count, because a bunch of little things eventually add up into one big thing. You cannot take your foot up off the gas. However you got them is more than likely how you're gonna have to try to keep them. Or at least an evolution of doing things so that this person knows that they are loved and appreciated. There's this saying about relationships that a lot of the dating advice content creators seem to abide by. The person who cares the least in a relationship has the most power. And even though I think there is a kernel of truth to that statement, I think overall as a statement, what that means is wrong. It points to a larger problem with that relationship dynamic in the first place. I think if there is a struggling power dynamic in a relationship, it is a sign of a bad relationship. You shouldn't be testing each other to see who cares less about the other person. You shouldn't be in constant fear of being attacked if you let your guard down. If you gotta constantly be on guard and be afraid that this person will stab you in the back if you let them in, is this the kind of person that you really need to be with? Why would you even be intimate with a person that makes you feel this way? Now, I'm not saying you need to be a crying, blubbering mess and a total baby about everything all the time with somebody. For everyone, that is universally unattractive. But you should be with someone that you have the capacity to share a level of vulnerability with. Again, no one should be so weak and mushy that they cannot control their emotions or express extreme neediness to their partner, male or female. But you should have someone in your corner that you know will be able to tough it out with you. Someone you know for a fact will be in your corner and tough it out with you when the going gets tough. Because life is full of these rough moments and you need someone that you know is going to be there for you. You need to know that someone is down for you. You don't want someone who's going to kick you while you're down, and you don't want someone who's going to flee as soon as something doesn't go right. And you got to be able to open up with this person. Everybody should absolutely be in a relationship with someone that they can be vulnerable with. Look, I'm not saying to talk about your third grade trauma on your second date, but you do need to be able to be open and honest with someone. If you're going to be in a real, healthy, mature relationship, you got to be able to be vulnerable. But I need you to be honest with yourself. You need to ask yourself, are you ready? Are you ready to let someone in like that? Are you truly ready to open up and let someone in? Because if you're dealing with the right person, they will listen to you, they will reassure you, and then they will acknowledge the fact that because you opened up to them, you must actually trust them. But if you're dealing with the wrong person, they'll turn it against you at some point and then gaslight you about it. Or even worse, they'll make you feel small in that moment that you're sharing with them. And all this would do is make you more closed off. It would make you never want to share anything again. It would make you never want to be vulnerable again. Because who wants to be hurt or mocked or ridiculed after they open up to someone? But also, on the flip side, are you ready for someone else to be vulnerable with you? Are you ready for someone else to let you in? No matter how perfect or amazing or attractive someone might be, everyone has problems. Everyone has a past. Everyone has issues. The question is, what past can you handle? What issues do not bother you? The very last thing that you want is for someone to open up, be vulnerable with you, and you can't handle it. And now you start treating them differently because they opened up to you. Everyone wants to be accepted for their flaws, especially by the person that they're with. Because most people's flaws are out of their control. They can't control the family that they were born into. They can't control if they experienced some sort of trauma when they were young. They can't control the fact that they might have done something really stupid when they were young and didn't know any better. But if they start opening up to you and you start treating them differently after they told you about it, it's really disheartening. I think both people should just focus on being the best partner that they can be. If I focus on being good to you and you focus on being good to me, both of us get a good partner. We're supposed to be a team, which means that even when we do have a disagreement, which is actually pretty normal and healthy, it's supposed to be me and you against the issue, not me against you. If most people were being honest with themselves, a majority of people want to be in a healthy, stable, monogamous relationship with somebody that they trust. But with all of this fear-mongering propaganda telling you that you cannot trust anyone and that everyone's going to waste your time and that everyone's going to hurt you, too many people are afraid to try. They've heard way too many horror stories about someone getting screwed over and they've become cautious. They don't want to be the next person in a headline about a crazy story. They don't want to be the next viral sensational TikTok of someone getting left on red or getting stood up at a restaurant. They don't want to start to fall for someone just to find out this person was actually in a relationship the entire time and lied to them. And I understand the fear. I totally get it. I know exactly why anybody would be completely afraid to put themselves out there. But I truly believe like attracts like. And until you work on yourself and become a better person, you will not attract a better person. If you work on being the best you that you can be, you will attract someone else who's working on being the best them that they could be. Develop a better relationship with yourself and become more self-aware. Because once you do, you will be able to recognize bullshit a mile away. Game recognize game, but real game is no game. And what that means is become the highest level version of yourself. You won't be trying to trick and fool somebody into seeing your value. You will be valuable. You won't be faking nothing. It'll be real. And I believe that you can get there. You just need to take that time with yourself. But in all seriousness, I really got to tell you that I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart if you've watched this video for this long. Because realistically, you could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that. Much love. I hope to see you in the next one. It's your boy, Just Judah. Peace out.